Gamer here, and thank you guys for your patience. I have finished, well, finally finished, Emilie. So now, since I did finish her, I got everything leveled up. I got her to level 90, as you see in the bottom. I got her weapon maxed. I got all of her skills to level 10, well, at least the important ones. And as well as have her artifact set ready. So, there's only one thing left to do now, since I did finish her. It's time to showcase her. So without any further ado, let's start the showcase. This is the Emilie showcase. So here is Emilie, or at least my Emilie build. As always, if you are an old viewer of the channel, you already know that I start off with the build for my showcases. If you are a new viewer to my showcases, then, well, let me explain to you. So, the reason why I showcase my build first in these showcases is to basically give you a scope on what my Emilie can do before we jump into testing, basically. So basically what I mean is you get insight into what my Emilie can do, and then we put it into practice. That's basically all there is to it. So, without any further delay, let's talk about my build. So, as you see here, Emilie's attack is at 2,000, and that's because her passive right here increases the dendral damage she does. Also gives you elemental damage bonus. That's the reason why you want to give her pretty high attack. I say 2,000 is a comfortable range, which is why I went for that specifically with 2,000 attack. 3,000 is a bit overkill if you really want the extra 6%, but 2,000 is your comfort range, basically. Just try to go for 2,000 if you want to build your Emilie that way. As you see for my stats, I didn't give her that much EM because she doesn't really need EM because all of her scaling is scaled off of attack. So you want to focus more on attack rather than EM. And also the same with crit rate, crit damage. You want to focus on that too because she is a sub DPS by nature. So that's the reason why I have crit rate, crit damage. ER, she doesn't really need that much ER because she has 50 energy cost on burst. So you don't really need that much. 130 should be enough to get her burst back consistently if you do elemental reactions. Dendral damage bonus is a no-brainer. It is a given. She is a dendral DPS, so might as well give her dendral damage, which is what I did with her. As for weapon, of course, I did pull for her weapon, so of course I gave her her best weapon, Lumidos Elegy. Her other best 5-star weapon, if you don't have that, is Shenhua's pole arm, which is surprisingly really good on Emilie because it revolves around elemental skill, the passive of Calamity Queller. So you can't just run Calamity Queller, but Lumidos Elegy is probably her best weapon, and obviously so because dendral damage bonus, and also helps with burning support, which is really, really good on her because she is a burning sub DPS. As for artifact set, I gave her Unfinished Reverie, which is obviously her best set because she is a burning sub DPS, which means that she benefits from this way more than any other character because it gives her free damage bonuses up to 100%, by the way, which is really, really nice. So definitely you want to give her this set. As for constellations, I have her at C0. She's one of the few characters that doesn't need constellations to be good. She's really good right off the bat, and her kit is amazing. So you don't really need constellations to boost it any further. I say only get constellations if you do really like her as a character. And as for talents, I did mention before, I did max her out on the essentials. 6, 10, 10. 6 because, well, she doesn't need normals. She doesn't use normals on gameplay. 10-10 because she uses her elemental skill and burst a lot in gameplay. So obviously I went and crowned both of these skills. So yeah. So there is my Emilie build. Well, it is pretty stacked really, and that's because I was farming for Arlecchino artifacts, but well, they didn't come. But thankfully 5.0 is going to change that, so hopefully my Arlecchino will have a different build other than gladiators for once. So yeah. Well, anyways, that is the build segment done. Now it's time to showcase her in teams. So I'm just going to cut to Spiralbus, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, here we are in Spiralbus. So, I wanted to be on this screen, and that's because I need to showcase my roster, of course. The only reason why I do this is to show what characters I have and basically tell you that I don't have certain characters. So here's my full roster right here, and you probably notice what characters I don't have. I don't have I'll Hate Them, I don't have Sino, I don't have any other beneficiary Sumeru character that works well with Emilie. So you're probably never gonna see Sino and I'll Hate Them, but I do have some replacements for them, so I am just gonna be using those instead. So yeah, but anyways, now it's time to showcase teams. Emilie here is mainly ran on burning teams as well as other teams that involve the reaction of Dendro and Pyro, so Burgeon, Hyperbloom, etc. So she has different varieties of teams, but I will also showcase teams where she doesn't have burning support, aka teams without Pyro. So you can see how well she does without her burning support. A spoiler alert, she doesn't perform as well as when she has a Pyro character on her team. But without any further delay, let's just get on with it. So this is floor 12 right here. I'm going to be showcasing her here because she does way too much damage for floor 11 anyway. And besides, she primarily excels at single target enemies. So, well, I'm going to showcase the first team right here, and that is the Burning team. So I am just going to be going with this particular burning team, and that's because, well, it is her best team. So it consists of this: Arlecchino, Emilie, Zhongling, and Bennett. All of them boost pyro damage for Arlecchino, so this is going to be perfect. As for second half, we could just put whatever we want. Let's just put Navia, because why not? So the whole point of Emilie's kit is to basically apply the pyro application on enemies. I'm going to be choosing this because it doesn't benefit Emilie all that well, so we can't just showcase her with raw stats. So yeah. Well, anyways, for Emilie, her main gameplay is to you have to put pyro first before you put her lantern down, or you can do the other way around. But when you do that, the enemy becomes permanently affected by pyro, as you see there. Look at that damage. It is way too much. As you see there, 14,000, consistent 14,000. She also has a permanent uptime on her elemental skill, which is pretty nice too. And remember when I said that she has 50 energy cost? You see how quickly she gets her her burst back? And that's because she is just way too good, as you see there. We'll put the elemental skill again. Yeah, as you see there, her whole point is to put burning on the enemy. When she does that, she gets buffs for it for her teammates, which benefit her in the long run. So yeah, also it's really great that she does apply a permanent pyro on the enemy, and that's because you can do elemental reactions like Vaporize, Melt, Overload, etc. So yeah. Well, speaking of those teams, it's time to showcase the other teams that have pyro in it. So let's just go to the next team. Alright, so here we have a vape comp, or a Burgeon team, to be specific. I'm just gonna label it as both a Burgeon and a Vaporize team, and that's because you could trigger both of those reactions at the same time. So yeah, but Burgeon is now extremely buffed thanks to Emilie. So you can't just do like a bunch of elemental reactions because of it. Yeah, as you see there, like we get Burgeon reactions for free because of the vape comp. So yeah, because there is a permanent pyro and dendro application on the enemy, which is extremely good on a team that really does need it. So yeah, I'm just gonna be doing the burst here because we do need to heal a bit. She is pretty low. Let's do Emilie burst, do like a bajillion dendro damage right there. This should get Galen's burst back. There we go. Now we could start actually doing damage right here. So yeah. So there you go. There's the Burgeon team right there. As you see there, it is still really good, and it got even better thanks to Emilie. So yeah. In short, basically Emilie just benefits a lot when she has a pyro character on the team. As long as you can get one pyro reaction in there, you should be good to go. So yeah. Well, anyways, it's time to move on to the next team that features a pyro character. So let's just cut to that. So here we have a Quicken, Aggravate, or in this case Hyperbloom team. Of course, it counts as both. But it's the same premise here. You just want to apply Pyro and then start the burning reaction right there. And since they have permanent Dendro and Pyro on them, you can just do Hyperbloom for free. So yeah, all you need is just one reaction on them and you should be fine. So yeah, extremely good reaction right there. Alright, we can just go here. And yeah, as you see there, we get more Pyro reactions in. And yeah, really though, you can't just replace Bennett with someone else. I only put Bennett there, and that's because I need the attack boost. Because Bennett is just way too good with Emilie. He synergizes way too well with her. So yeah. This should be it for them. Yeah, there we go. And now we can just apply Pyro. There we go. And then we just do our damage right there. And yeah. But as you see there, Quicken, Aggravate, or Hyperbloom team works well with Emilie. So yeah. Basically, I will say it again. At the end of the day, Emilie is just way too good with just one Pyro character. All she needs is one Pyro character, and she like literally pops off. So yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much all the Pyro teams. There is one more team that I will showcase that involves Pyro, but it has a less significant impact than the other teams because the other teams were just pure Dendro teams like well, Burning, Hyperbloom, Burgeon. So yeah. Well, might as well showcase this one last team before we get to the teams where she isn't in Pyro teams. So let's just cut to that. Alright, so here we have a Melt comp. So the Melt comp is actually pretty good with Emilie, and that's because of the, again, permanent Pyro application thanks to Burning. So with that in mind, you can literally set up Melt and do like a bajillion damage. So yeah, as you see there, look at that, 54,000 on Melt. Yep, you're not, your eyes don't deceive you. That literally is 50,000. So we can't just go for this again. Okay, that didn't crit that time, but we can just showcase it later once we deal with these enemies here. So let's do Emilie Burst. That should give us both of their bursts back, Zhongling and Bennett. And then we can just do this. There we go. Do it again. There we go. 48,000 as you see there. 100,000. Yeah. Melt comp is really good with Emilie as you see there. So yeah. Basically, you can't just run Melt comp and they just destroy everything because it is part of Burning, and thanks to the Burning's Pyro application, you're able to do like a gazillion damage. So yeah. Well, anyways, that is it for all the Pyro-centered teams featured. So now it's time to go over the teams where she's not in Pyro teams. So let's just kick that off. So before we move forward, onwards, I guess, I have to tell you guys something. So remember, this is Emilie without Pyro, so she's gonna be performing significantly weaker than when she has a Pyro character on the team. So always keep that in mind once we move forward with these non-Pyro teams. So without any further ado, here is the Hyperbloom team, aka one of the best Dendro teams in the game. But as for Emilie's case, not really. And that's because, again, all of her busts stem to, well, again, Pyro. But she does do Dendro application on Burst and Elemental skill, so she can get the job done, I guess. But the only bad part about it is that you always get level 1 lamp. So, yeah, she won't be at her full potential. You won't even get the level 2 lamp unless you're fighting an enemy who has a Pyro shield. So, yeah, like a Lecter or the Crab from Fontaine. So basically anything that could literally trigger Pyro, I guess, if they have a shield for it. You can use Emilie for, and you can get the level 2 shield, but most of the time in teams where she doesn't have a Pyro character, she gets a level 1 lantern. So yeah. Well, anyways, there you go. There is the Hyperbloom team. it's still one of the best teams to this very day. But as for Emilie's case, not really. So yeah. Well, anyways, it's time to move on to the next non-Pyro team. So let's just get to it. Alright, so here we have a Quicken / Aggravate team. Also one of the best teams in the game. But again, I will say it over and over again, not good for Emilie because she needs Pyro characters. But Quicken and Aggravate is just way too good because it keeps on stacking up reactions for you, which is really, really good in Abyss specifically. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of damage here and a lot of elemental reactions because of this team. So yeah, well anyways, I'm going to be putting up the Dendro application. We're going to be doing Right in Burst. Alright, he should be almost at his second phase. Yeah, there you go. There's his second phase. Now he's gonna spawn the robots. Now we can just hyper focus on one of them. Let's put the Yaimiko Kitsune up. And this should finish him off right here. Should do it. Yeah, there we go. Now we can hyper focus on this one. Alright, we're gonna be putting up the Kitsune again. Alright. And this should finish him off right here. There we go. So yeah, Quicken Aggravate, still good to this very day. Of course, you can't just run All Hate Them, but I don't have All Hate Them. So yeah, that's all you're gonna get right there. But anyways, yeah, that's Quicken and Aggravate. Not the best team for Emilie, but she can still work thanks to her Dendro application. So yeah. Well, anyways, it's time to move on to the next non-Pyro team. Let's do it. So here we have the Nilou Bloom team. This is going to be the last team I'm going to be showcasing before I showcase 3 wacky teams you can run with Emilie that surprisingly work. So yeah, this is going to be the last Dendro related team I'm going to be showcasing, or at least meta team that I'm going to be showcasing. So without any further ado, let's just get to it. So, the Nilou Bloom team is just a regular Bloom team, except that you're forced to run Nilou. So, yeah, but Nilou generates these big cores that you're able to put up on the field that explode really quickly. The only thing that you will need is just Dendro and Hydro application, and then you just do big core damage. That is literally the Nilou Bloom team's gameplay. So, yeah. Of course, as always with these Emilie teams, Emilie will only have a level 1 lantern, so you can't get level 2 benefits from her, but she still does get the Dendro application anyway, so it works out in the end, I guess. Alright, so we are basically about to finish up here. Yep. There's the guy right there. Okay. Let's reapply everything. Let's get the Nahida thing. We're gonna be doing burst right here to do Hydro application, and that should be good enough. Yep, there it is. Okay, now we just reapply everything here. Let's put the skill. We don't have enough time for burst anyway because we need to get Nilou's elemental skill up, and then this should be it right here. Yep, there it is. So as you see there, Nilou Bloom team works well, and that's because Nilou is Nilou. So yeah, of course she's just gonna pop off. But yeah, there is the last, I guess, Dendro meta team in the game, I guess, if you like to call it that way. So now it's time for the fun part. It's time to showcase the wacky teams. Yep, the wacky teams that you're probably never gonna run, but are still worth, well, interest. And that's because no one runs these, I guess. So, anyways, without any further ado, here's 3 wacky teams for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. So here we have the Navia Hypercarry team, and the reason why this is a wacky team is because you could actually get the permanent Pyro application on burning anyway, and with that you get crystallized reactions. So yeah, basically free crystallized reactions equals free bullets, which means you can do stuff like that. So yeah, really busted. Since they do have permanent Pyro application, you can't just keep on using Globa and then the skill, and then there you go, do like a bajillion damage on crystallized reactions. Yeah, this team is way too good, even though it is pretty wacky. So yeah, surprisingly, again, she works. She just works. All right. It's time to finish up right here. So let's just put everything up. Let's put Globa. Do like a bajillion damage there. This should get him low enough to blast him. There we go. And then now we can focus on him. Let's do Zhongling. Let's do Emilie. Bam! 200,000 damage. Yep, casual 200k. So yeah, there we go. There is the Nilou Hypercarry team. Thanks to Emilie's burning reaction and thanks to the permanent pyro application on burning, you basically just get free crystallized reactions. Yeah, pretty good, right? That is the well, Navia Hypercarry. Still very good to this very day. Well, anyways, it's time to move on to the next wacky team. Alright, so here we have a Furina-centric team. And the reason why this is kind of a wacky team is because Furina screws over Arlinquino. Because Arlinquino, well, her health is really low. So, yeah, of course it's gonna screw her over. And if she does get hit a lot, she's forced to use her elemental burst just to get her HP back. As you see there, it's already draining enough. And yeah, there we go. She's already at red health. So, yeah. Furina is not really used that much in Arlinquino teams. Because it really does screw her over. She is used in Hu Tao teams though, so you can literally just replace Furina with, or not Furina, you can replace Arlinquino with Hu Tao, and you get the same result. So, yeah. But the reason why I wanted it to become a wacky team is to just showcase Arlinquino with Furina and how well it works, surprisingly. As long as you don't get hit, of course. But as you see there, bam, quickly done. There we go. So yeah, there's a Furina-centric team. Of course, you can replace Arlinquino with any other Pyro DPS, but basically it is really wacky if you put Arlinquino with Furina because they literally have negative synergy with each other. So yeah. Well, anyways, there you have it. We are now going on to the last wacky team to showcase. So let's just go right in. Alright, so here we have the last wacky team before we get on to the free-to-play team, and that is the Air Fryer team. So, it's pretty self-explanatory why it's called the Air Fryer team. It's because Dendro's the food, Pyro is, well, cooking it, and then Anemo's the air, hence Air Fryer. It's similar to other teams that use Dendro, like Hyper Fridge, which uses Electro, Cryo, Hydro, and Dendro, or Fridge, that uses Cryo, Hydro, and Dendro. You see the reason why it's called Fridge and Hyper Fridge? It's because they're literally freezing the Dendro. And as for Air Fryer, well, Anemo and Pyro are the Air Fryer, and then you're frying Dendro. That's literally why it's called Air Fryer. So now you know. But anyways, it's similar to the burning team except that you just add Anemo in, and it's actually pretty good because, well, again, if you do have pretty good viridescent characters like Venti or Jean or Kazuha, this team is actually probably one of the best teams in the game because of just how much damage you're able to output right there. So yeah. Well, anyways, now they're on his second phase, so now we can just focus on these. Alright, we're about to get Kazuha Slash right here, so we can't just do that. We're about to get Bennett's thing, so let's just do that now. And then I'm pretty sure Emilie's is gonna get hers very soon, so now we can just do that. And there we go. Alright. Let's do this. Let's reapply the burst so it connects back to her. And then now we can just finish him off right there. There we go. Alright. So there's the Air Fryer team. Pretty wacky, funny team, but it's actually really, really viable. So make sure you try it out if you do have the necessary characters for it. And, well, now there's only one team left to showcase here, and that is a free-to-play team. So let's just cut to that. Alright, so here we have a free-to-play team. Since 5.0 is finally going to allow us to give us a free standard pull 5-star of our choosing, now Tighnari and the other standard banner 5-stars are now free-to-play options. So here is a free-to-play team right here. with Tighnari, Emilie, Xiangling, and Bennett. Xiangling, Bennett, of course, are 4-star, so you can easily commonly get it. And Tighnari is the, well, if you do choose him as your free standard wish 5-star, then yeah, he is also free to play. So, here is, well, a free to play team with him. So, we're going to be doing Emilie right here, set up the reaction, and now we can just do Tighnari shenanigans. If we are allowed to, of course, because sometimes the boss doesn't allow us to do that. But yeah, as you see there, look at that damage. Extremely good. Alright. Let's do Emilie again. We got our burst back, so why not? We're trying to get Bennett's burst back because we do need the attack boost. Alright, now we do Tighnari burst. Kablam! Do like a bajillion damage right there. Yeah, but look at that damage. 60k. Yeah, he's just really good. Alright. Now, we just focus on these enemies right here. Alright. Okay. We got Xiangling's burst. Nice. We can go Emilie burst. Take advantage of those invincibility frames. There we go. This should be it for that enemy. Yep. Let's pick up the pepper. And then just do our damage. Yeah, but as you see there, he does pretty good. Tighnari, basically any other Dendro character fits well in the role, but Tighnari is now a free-to-play, so you can't just use him, and he performs really well, as you see there. Alright. This should finish him off right there. So, yeah, there we go. So yeah, there is a free-to-play team that you guys can use, as long as, of course, you pick Tighnari as your free 5-star. But yeah, there you go. That just proves that Emilie is just way too good. So yeah. Well, anyways, that is it for the team showcases. It's now time to showcase Emilie against bosses. So, of course, since Emilie is from Fontaine, we're going to be showcasing her against Fontaine bosses. So, we're going to be starting off with the Narwhal. Alright, so here we are at the Narwhal domain. So, of course, I am going to be showcasing Emilie's teams, so we're just probably going to give her the best possible treatment, which means that we're going to have to one-face this boss. So, well, I do have kind of a team cooking up for this one. We're going to be running the, well, a really weird, wacky comp, which is the Burgeon team. So, we're going to be running Arlenkino, of course, because we do have to. We're gonna be running, of course, Furina, because we do need a bunch of damage. It doesn't really matter if we do get hit, so that's the reason why I brought her. And of course, we need the attack boost, so we're gonna be bringing Bennett, our boy. So that is going to be our team comp right there. Hopefully, we can kill this thing in like probably like 30 seconds. Hopefully. So yeah, we're gonna be showcasing why Emilie is the best here. And why not then showcasing, well, this team right here, which does like a bajillion damage. So yeah. Since we don't need any healing, it really doesn't matter what we do. But we are going to be saving bursts and stuff for later, of course. Of course, we're going to try to get Arlenkino's normal attacks in. That is our main goal here, so... There we go. Now we got her normal attacks in. Nice. Okay. Now we set up everything. So let's set up everything. Burst. Yeah, we're already doing a ton of damage right there. Yeah, that's almost half its health right there. So now we wait until it attacks again. And now we just do damage. And now we can do burst again to get our health back. There we go. It should emerge soon, so we can't just reapply everything here. Let's do that. Alright, this should be it right here. This should finish him off. As long as we hyper focus on this. And he's donezo! There we go. As you see there, he can be finished as long as you have a strong team. And the Arlenkino, Furina, Emilie, Bennett team is just way too strong because of the attack boost. The constant attack buffs that Arlenkino gets, she's able to just blitz through everything. So yeah. Well, anyways, there is the Narwhal. Went by pretty quick. Now there's only one more Fontaine boss, and that is Arlenkino herself. So, let's just cut to that domain. Alright, so here we are at the Arlenkino domain. So, why not face Arlenkino with Arlenkino herself? So, this is the team I'm going to be running, which is just a pure burning team. I brought Zhongli here because Arlenkino just does way too much damage. If you did fight the boss before, you know why you want to bring a shield character, and that's because she just bursts through everything, and I mean everything. She does a lot of damage. So, you want to come prepared, and that's what I did. I came prepared. So, this is the team I'm just going to be rocking with, which is just the burning team, and just add Zhongli in it, because shield is just way too good. So, yeah. Well, anyways, the first thing I'm going to be doing, of course, is getting Arlenkino's Pyro application. So, we're going to go immediately for her elemental skill. And now, we do Emilie shenaniganery right here. So now it's time to do like a bajillion damage. Alright. Yeah, I see there. Look at that. It's actually really high damage, as you see there. Because the Knave has a lot of HP. That's the reason why her health bar is going down slowly. But if you notice like how much damage I'm able to do, she does way too much. As Emilie and Bennett combined with the attack buff, it's just way too much. Yeah, we're about to finish the Knave actually. We are close. Alright, now we do Burst, and now we do Arlenkino, and this should finish her off right here. Yeah, but as you see there, look at how quickly her health is depleting right there. Alright, now we move on to her second phase of the fight. So I think I don't have any elemental bursts stocked up, so I don't know if I could invincibility frame this. I will try though. Yeah, so now we do invincibility frame. There we go. By the way, the reason why I want a burst stocked up for that specific attack is because that attack one-shots you. It's really, really, really hard hitting. So yeah. And that's the reason why I wanted the invincibility frames on that burst. So sadly, since I did waste it, we won't get her elemental skill for another probably like few seconds. So yeah, but I think we did get it now. So now we can just finish her off right here, and just focus on her. This should be it for her. It doesn't matter if Arlenkino dies because she dies too. Yep, there it is. Yeah, burning again, way too broken. It's just way too broken. So, yeah. Well, anyways, there are the boss showcases, but if you are a longtime viewer, you know what comes next. It is now time for the max damage showcase, and as for her, it's gonna be specifically her elemental burst because that's where her max damage is. So, without any further ado, let's just test out to see how much damage she's able to perform against a boss. Let's just cut to that. Alright, so here we are at the Cryo Regisvine. The reason why I chose him is because he's really easy to get stunned. And, well, we have a burning comp right here to basically, well, again, just destroy this boss. So here we have Emilie. Of course, she's going to be the main tester of this team. Of course, she's going to be doing her max damage, so on and so forth. We have Zhongli here for Millilith buff because Millilith gives attack. So that's the reason why I brought him in. Zhongling is here to facilitate the role as the pepper dropper. It's because of her passive talent right here, which gives 10% attack, as well as her other things as well, unlike her constellations and whatnot. And as for Bennett, of course, attack boost. We gave him high base attack weapon, Noblesse, maxed outburst, yeah, the typical the works. So yeah, and also we also have the Pyro buff right here, 25% attack. So this is Emilie at her basically her best team. So let's just showcase that right here, right now. So obviously I'm gonna be putting Guoba up first because we do need the pepper as soon as possible. Which is after I think 5 attacks on him. Yeah. So now we pick that up. Now we do this, and now we get the shield up, and now we do the burst and see how much damage she does. 35,000, 55,000. Yeah, that is her damage right there. 84,000 or 8,000. That's just base damage, and yeah, there we go. So she basically does 55,000 on burst, which is pretty nice. I did see her hit higher numbers though at 80,000 and whatnot, and that's with abyss buffs. So yeah, that is my max damage Emilie burst, and well, that is the whole showcase. But now it's time to wrap this video up. It's time to go over Emilie with the overview and then give my final thoughts on her. So here we have Emilie, the Perfumer of Fontaine. So yeah, well, as for this segment, as it usually goes, we go over her overview, which means we go over her talents and constellations, and then I'll give my final thoughts on the character. So without any further delay, let's just get to it. So let's look at her talents. So her normal attack, Shadow Hunting Spear Custom, is literally useless, and that's because, well, it doesn't really benefit her kit all that well. Unless, of course, you're C6. Because, of course, every single Fontaine character is C6 will always give them application on something. And for her, it's her normal attack. So if you do have her C6, of course, level this up. But if you are running Emilie at C0, this is literally useless. Her normal attack's useless. You'll never use this. As for her elemental skill, Fragrance Extraction is her main bread and butter besides her burst, of course. How it works is she does dendro damage, of course, on her lantern. You get scent by doing burning reaction, and well, you can get up to a lot of scents, basically. If you gather enough scents, you get a level 2 lantern, of course, which does way more damage than the level 1 lantern. So basically what that means is if you don't have any pyro reactions on your lantern, then you just have a level 1 lantern. If you do get enough pyro reactions, you get a level 2 lantern. So yeah, if you are running her in her most optimal teams, of course this lantern is going to stay at level 2 at all times, and you mainly want to do that because, again, all her level 2 lanterns scale really, really high. So you want to go out of your way to get a level 2 lantern with her, which means you have to apply pyro and dendro with her. So yeah. As for her elemental burst, Aromatic Explication, it's basically the same thing as her elemental skill, but instead of having a level 2 lantern, it does a level 3 lantern. So yeah. And the level 3 lantern doesn't last that long, but it does a bajillion dendro damage. And well, as you see here at maxed out, it does 391% damage. And of course, the lantern doesn't last that long, but her constellations make it last longer. But then again, you don't really need it because, again, her elemental skill still does get the job done besides her burst. So yeah, the burst is there mainly to just get extra damage in. Basically it's well, again, a big AoE damage burst, just like any other DPS. But in her case, it's just a little bit of extra damage. It's just, think of it like a cherry on top, basically. As for her passive talents, we have her first passive talent, which is Lingering Fragrance. Every time you collect 2 scents, which is your lantern, you get a AoE dendro damage AoE attack. That does 600% of her attack. So that's the reason why you want to stack attack on her. Besides this skill, there's also this skill that also lets you stack attack to get buffs. But more on that later, because we are talking about this skill right now. So it does really, really good damage as long as you have a high attack Emilie, of course. 2,000 will basically just give you a ton of damage anyway. So yeah. And it's its own separate damage too, so it doesn't proc via elemental skill. But it's still good damage. It's AoE dendro damage. You can't pass that up. And you basically get it for free, because getting sense is easy as long as you trigger a burning reaction. So yeah. As for her second passive talent, Retrification, basically increases the damage to burning opponents by every 1,000 attack she has, up to 15%, of course. So every 1,000 is 15%. And then the max amount of damage bonus you get is 36. So basically, if you want to get the max amount of damage, you need to have her at 3,000 attack. But at that point, that's just way too overkill. Get her at 2,000, because with that way, you get 30% max damage bonus. The only reason why you want to get her to 3000 attack is if you want the juicy 6%, of course. So, basically, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to go for the 36. You don't have to get her to 3000 unless you really want the juicy 6% attack damage bonus. 30% is way more comfortable enough, and you'll see significant improvement as long as you get her to 2000 attack, which isn't really that hard to get anyways. And as for her other passive talent, her overworld passive talent, you get 85% pyro res against burning damage. So if you do get burned, which is most likely somewhat all the time, you get a 85% pyro res, which means that you won't die, which is really, really good because burning drains your health fast in this game. So if you are burning grass in the overworld, enjoy that 85% pyro res, which is pretty nice. So yeah, really, really good talents overall. Really great. As for constellations, they just make her way better. So let's just talk about them. So her C1 is Light Fragrance Leeching, which basically increases the damage of Fragrance Extraction, which is basically her elemental skill right there. It also, the passive talent, Lingering Fragrance, is increased by 20%. Lingering Fragrance is this, of course, so you're able to do way more damage than you should, of course, because why not, right? And also, when you do trigger a burning reaction or deal dendro damage to burning opponents, you get an additional scent, which means that you're able to trigger this rapid fire lingering fragrance. Yep, instead of getting 1 scent on your skill, you get 2. Yeah, really, really busted. Really, really good. As for Constellation 2, we have Lake Light Top Note. So when her E and Q or Clear Dew Cologne produce the passive lingering fragrance, basically when you do a burning reaction, the dendro res of the opponent is decreased by 30%, which is really, really good. Again, I keep saying this a lot, but Emilie's constellations are actually extremely good. She just doesn't really need it, but if you do get it, it's literally like she's just god mode at that point. Because again, you get a bajillion damage thanks to fragrance extractions, and you get extra scents anyway, which means it's rapid fire. And also for Constellation 2, you get 30% dendro res shred. Nice. It's really, really good. It's extremely good. Her Constellation 3 just increases her elemental's skill Fragrance Extraction. Right here. Yeah, Fragrance Extraction by 3 levels, which is pretty nice. Again, it is her bread and butter, so it's really great. Her Constellation 4, Lumidos Heart Note, is basically, it increases aromatic explication, which is her burst by 2 seconds. And the interval of scented dews is decreased by 0.3 seconds, which means that you're able to somewhat rapid fire with burst, meaning that she's able to get more opportunities to attack with burst. So basically, you're gonna see her doing more dendro damage on burst, which is pretty nice. And also, extends it by 2 seconds, which means that it's able to last a really, really long time. Because, well, again, her thing lasts for 2.8 seconds, so just add an extra 2 seconds on it, and she becomes god mode. Yeah, again, all of our constellations just become really good. As for Constellation 5, it just increases her burst by, again, 3 levels. Again, both of these are just her bread and butter, which is really nice. And as for Constellation 6, remember when I mentioned that all of her normal attacks become dendro damage if you have C6 when I mentioned her leveling up her normal attacks? Well, this is the constellation that literally makes her a dendro DPS. So when you use E or Q, basically elemental skill or elemental burst, you get a biting fragrance for 5 seconds. When it's active, you're doing normal or charge attacks will generate 1 scent, and her normal and charge become dendro damage. And the damage dealt will be increased by 300% of Emilie's attack, which is really, really nice. And also, well, you gotta keep this in mind too. The fragrance stacks will be removed after 4 scents, which is really weird. And then the abiding fragrance can only trigger once every 12 seconds. So basically, she's gonna be on the field for a little bit to get fragrance stacks and also scent stacks as well, which is really, really nice. I mean, it's extremely good. It's really, really, really good. So she becomes a dendro DPS. She gets 300% damage dealt as her attack, which is pretty high anyway because you need attack to get the damage bonus anyway. She gets 1 cent when you do a normal attack, which means that, again, if you keep in mind, remember this? Yeah, Dendro Res decrease, rapid fire fragrance extraction. Yeah, broken, absolutely broken, lingering fragrance, rapid fire. So yeah, you get that as well as 1 cent on normal charge. So basically you want her on the field as long as you have cents, of course, to get your Dendro damage bonus in. So this literally makes her, again, a main DPS, which is really, really nice. Of course, it's gonna be broken. It's her Constellation 6. And that is basically it for Emilie. As for my opinion on her, she is really, really good. Extremely good. In fact, I would probably say she's one of the best Dendro supports and Dendro sub DPSs in the game. And that is no joke because Natlin is coming out. And guess what Kniche is? The new Dendro character in Natlin. He is a burning DPS. And guess who pairs well with burning? Emilie. So yeah, Emilie's just gonna become really good. And remember, the Pyro Archon is coming up. And people speculate that the Pyro Archon is a sub DPS. So you know what that means? That's just gonna make Emilie even better. So yeah, as for my opinion on Emilie, broken. Absolutely busted. Don't sleep on her. She's extremely, extremely good. Even though Natlin is coming out, I will say probably save your primos until Emilie's rerun so you're able to get her weapon guaranteed, because right now, of course, I will showcase it on her banner, fates are at 2. Yeah, once Natlin comes out, it becomes 1. So I will say hold off until she gets a rerun. That's basically it. So anyways, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, anyways, if you do enjoy it, speaking of which, be sure to support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It really does mean a lot that you do like and subscribe. It really supports me. It keeps me motivated to making more videos like this. It helps fuel my passion for YouTube. So again, if you do like and subscribe, thank you guys so much for your support. It really does mean a lot. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So yeah. And as for the comments, leave a comment down below. What do you think of Emilie? You think she's broken? You think she's not? Are you convinced to pull her now that you've seen the showcase, or you want to save up for your Natlin characters? And also, what do you think about her teams, and as well as her in general? You think she's a cool character? You think she's not all that? Let me know in the comments down below. I really will engage with these types of conversations because they are very, very interesting. If you guys, of course, leave a comment. And as always, thank you guys for watching this Emilie showcase video, and I'll see you guys in the next gacha video.